Retirees, be careful of this. I'm telling you, I'm getting emails left and right. That's an exaggeration, but I'm getting a number of emails and comments on my YouTube channel that has me somewhat concerned. So let me show you what I'm talking. I get an email from a man. We'll call him B and D for he and his wife, and these guys crush. These guys are great. I love these guys. But anyway, he says, Josh, let me see if I can't find the email. Hold on, just a second. Boy, are we having FOMO. And he emailed me this yesterday morning. All right. Wife retired at the end of last year, 2023. Yay, we are now both retired. So naturally, we wanted to cash at the bottom of November in anticipation of her retirement. The main reason for going into cash is she needs to be in cash for the transfer into her IRA account, which we did in January. So she's like, hey, we're moving from her 401k, 403b. We're just going to go in cash so we don't get crushed while the transfer is happening. Good point. So here we are sitting in cash with FOMO. We are still in transition, getting used to our new income and adjusting expenses to that. Our money is sitting in SPACs, that's a Fidelity Money Market account, earning about 4.98%. We have 700,000, we'll just say 5 because it makes my bird brain easy. Remember, I'm just a caveman. Caveman, I don't understand your ways. I'm a caveman from Peaks Island, Maine. What do I know? But we have about 700,000 at 5%. That's 35,000 schmackaroonies per year. Not bad. My question is, how do we know when to get back in the market? I can't remember how old these guys are. I'm just going to say 60. And dudes, I'm telling you right now. So when I emailed them back, B&D, and again, freaking crushing. I said, man, B&D, I know it sounds too conservative, but I'd wait until you have a year under your belt in retirement in order to get a real idea of expenses. If you think you've already have that, great. But retirement expenses are different than working expenses. And I basically said, expenses are what drives retirement probability of success. Expenses, not assets, not income, expenses. Once we know expenses, we can model a portfolio using the bucket strategy and whatnot. But until we know expenses, I just hang tight. And then he says, all right, thanks, Josh. Looks like we're remaining cash from now, earn that sweet 5% interest. Now, ironically, let me show you something else. This is what I'm telling you, got to worry about. You got to be prepared for. What happened in the markets yesterday? NASDAQ down 346 points. And if you look at that in terms of percentages, 2.36%. Look at the 10-year treasury back below to 3.9, back below 4. That's the 10-year treasury. That's the yield right now. That's a big drop. Is at 4.2 just the other day. So why? Let me look at this. Let me show you here. So you see this massive drop, and then you got this run up, and then you got another drop. How ironic that drop come when the Fed basically said, we're not going to cut rates anytime soon. They said, so why is the yields dropping? That don't make sense. You'd think if they're not cutting, then the yields would go up, right? Because people would be selling. So remember, the yields go in counter. And I talk about this in my bond, part of the bond, my course that that'll produce at the end of this week, or probably next week. Yeah, next week. And we say when bond interest rates, the yields go down, the prices go up. So yields are going down. That inherently means the price is going up. More people are buying the bonds. There's more of a demand for bonds. Why would be there more demand for bonds when Jerome Powell and the boys are saying they're not going to cut rates anytime soon? That doesn't make any sense. Remember, when they cut rates is when the bonds cut rates. Interest rates go down. What happens to bonds? They go up. So they're saying we're not going to cut rates, and yet interest rates are going down and the bonds are going up. Does that make any sense to anybody? Of course not. Other than we're concerned about economic output here. On top of it, it's like, hey, we're not cut rates anymore. You can get good bonds for longer term. 5%. Money market. We're not cutting rates anytime soon. Money market looks even more valuable. But what I want to show you something else. Let's go to the S&P 500. S&P 500 was down 2% yesterday as well. All right. And see that crash right there? That's when the Fed spoke. Look at my manicured fingers. Oh, you're so cute, Josh. Look at those manicured fingers. Look at those. Look at those. Oops. Oh, I got such soft hands. Soft hands. See that right there? Interesting. So let me ask B&D. If B&D, and this is for all of y'all. If B&D were sitting there saying, all right, we're going to move our portfolio into the market now, and then the next day it fell 2%, how would you feel? How would you feel? you'd be like, man, I should have kept that 5%. Especially if our model says if you get 5%, you're fine. I'm telling you, man, don't be so quick to get back in. Just get. And that's what I'm telling you. So let's just say, for simple, he's got $700,000. I don't have my calculator, but yeah, I do. I should have bought my regular calculator. What the hell was I thinking about? Dumb. Josh is a dumb. So he got $700,000. I'm just gonna say needs we'll say five. That's 35,000 a year, just for simplicity. He needs 35,000 a year off that $700,000. All right. And we're going to say and that's what he figures out. He's about $3,000 a month. So when he's got his first year flush in retirement, he can say, okay, we figure out we need about $3,000 a month on our $700,000. I'm not. What about healthcare? I'm just saying, how much do we need from our portfolio? That's what I'm saying. All right. Social Security, I'm not talking about. I'm just saying we have a portfolio of set amount. We need how much from that portfolio? We need $3,000 from a month from that portfolio. All right. So that means we have 350,000. 35,000 schmackaroonies, we times that by 35,000 schmackaroonies, we times that by 4. So we put of that 700,000, 140,000 in cash. All right, so we put 140,000 in cash. That leaves us 560. In my opinion, that I'd do in a 70-30 portfolio. A Wellington Fidelity Balance Fund, so 0.7. That means we'd have roughly 400,000 in stocks. What did I say? So 400,000 in stocks plus 130 in cash. That means we'd have 170 in bonds. I mean, that's 170 bonds, 130 in cash. What did I say? 400,000 in stocks for retirees. Man, you can't shake a stick at that. Cash is paying 5 right now. Bonds are paying 4. Who knows what's happening in stocks? But I mean, that's, again, don't fight the Fed. So when the Fed is raising, what they say is don't fight. But now the Fed is saying we're not cutting anytime soon, which is why the markets fell, because that's fighting the Fed. When the Fed cuts, or even implies that they're going to cut, the markets jump. When the Fed's, again, the markets are forward looking. So they're anticipating what the Fed says. They thought the Fed was going to cut sooner rather than later. And the Fed said, no, we're not cutting anytime soon. So the markets fell. Again, could that happen again today? I don't know. But think about it. You're going night. And you're like, man, I just lost 2% of $700,000. That's $14,000 you just lost if you had everything in the market. Obviously, he's not going to put everything in the market. But, man, just wait till you know your expenses, man. I know, but you're getting 5% right now. And if you need, again, $3,000 a month, that 5% gives you that without touching principal. It's just a fact. Oh, but Josh, inflation. Oh, my goodness. I'm not saying you have to leave it there for the rest of your life. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you have 5% at $700,000, that's $35,000 a year of a fixed income, I grant you. That covers your expenses for this year, covers your expenses for next year. Slowly, it won't cover your full expenses because inflation is chomping at the bit. I grant you that 100%. However, as we figure out what our expenses are, we can say, I don't need all that money tied up. I can invest because I got 4 years of living expense. Expenses, my friends. That's the holy grail when it comes to retirement planning. Just keep that in mind. All right, love your thoughts. God bless.